The Front Range clear out to Kansas is under a red flag warning today. We hear those words ever more often because of increasing fire danger. Colorado's meteorologists are looking at whether those warnings should change as a result. Our Luis De Leon is not a meteorologist, which just means that he can explain this in terms that we can understand.
You know, we've had the same red flag criteria for a couple decades or more now.
As first responders and researchers filled a ballroom in Fort Collins for the Colorado Wildland Fire Conference, the ideas were sparking.
To show you things that we have access to that we can look at.
Like from National Weather Service meteorologist Scott Stearns, who presented a different way of determining red flag warnings. Right now, Stearns explained a lot of things need to happen at once to issue a red flag warning. Winds have to be at or above 25-mile-per-hour gusts. Relative humidity has to be at or below 15%. Fuels have to be considered critical, and those conditions have to be met for 3 hours or more during the day. But Stearns believes that could be looked at differently.
We like to evaluate them all as one piece. How do they combine correctly? Maybe the RH isn't quite as low as 15%, but the temperature is extremely high and the winds are high, and so that could lead to dangerous fire weather conditions. Even though you may have strong winds, the RH may not be there, the fuels may not be quite completely critical.
Taking all of that into account is something he feels could be an efficient way of looking at when to issue those warnings.
Maybe one day that we would have issued before, we don't issue now, or vice versa.
The sheer amount of red flag warnings issued in a year can vary depending on where you live. Let's take Boulder, for instance. According to data from the National Weather Service there, 57 red flag warnings have been issued in all of their forecast areas since the start of this year. That's actually down compared to the same time last year when 78 warnings were issued.
It should be the right combination of those three factors.
Stearns hopes new analysis sparks improvement.
Making sure that we're actually warning folks of problematic fire weather days, not just a couple criteria that are listed in a book.
Stearns says himself and just a few others have really been looking at these different ways to issue the warnings just in their forecast office for now. Kyle, he says his proposal will actually have to go through feedback and a few other hurdles before actually being considered.
Speaking of consideration, meteorologist Luis De Leon has got a nice little ring to it.
Right. Well, you know, I'm not good at math. That's why I'm a journalist.
You thought about it, though. You thought about becoming a meteorologist.
It was the way I got into broadcast media in general. But, you know, I couldn't even test into calculus in college. Here we are.
Took you out at the knees. You were not the first. You won't be the last. Luis, thank you.